we need to make some, technical.
Well, this is the thing. It's like any time I've done it through StreamYard, I'd never have a problem. And now it says excellent connection, so hopefully that's a little better.
It might be on your end. It might
It
not
probably
on my
is.
end.
It could have been OBS, just didn't pick up any. Okay, just tell me in about a minute if whether that's better or not.
Yep.
It should redo it on the
It
video.
should start on the
No,
same link.
I'll re-emphasize what I'm just talking about. Just tell me if you see it okay on YouTube now. Here, I'll check on my end too. Just
So
bear
did
with
you
us.
start?
Bear with us, everybody.
You
Sorry.
start streaming again?
I have, yeah. Looks good
Okay.
now.
Okay, on my end, it must be a problem with my internet connection on my end because it still don't look good. But okay, it's comprehensible for me, so I wouldn't.
Okay.
If it's okay on your end,
Yeah. Let me just change the background colors. It's kind of annoying me here.
interrupt.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Okay, so we ended at the missile.
Okay, let me just start over. All right, so we got a YJ-18A, and if anybody has any problems on the YouTube with the resolution, if you can just tell us in the YouTube channel, we'll try again if we have to, but hopefully not. We won't have to. All right, so the audio is definitely coming through, and it looks like the video is coming through. It might not be tip-top video quality, but it looks like it's better than before. Okay. If anybody that's watching on YouTube could just type in there saying that they can see it okay, I'd appreciate it. All right. So I'm gonna just run through this just a little bit first. So we got a YJ-18A. It's got a good resolution, a good fire control resolution. It's gonna be planted where it needs to be planted. And I think one thing that we had discussed, Tom, was when would it go active, right? And
Right.
if we look back at the our assumption is that if you have a fair or a good resolution, that the seeker would basically activate at its kind of maximum acquisition range. That's just
Yeah.
that might be an incorrect assumption. If anybody knows otherwise, please tell us. But it is if I'm correct, TARH,
Yeah.
terminal active radar homing.
I made the
Is
whole
it in one of
slide.
your things? Okay, that's fine. So
Yes.
it's
Every
um,
yes.
as we will see, the Arleigh Burke has a target signature of small, even though it is a medium size based on its construction. All right, and
It
let's go
tells
back
you
here real quick.
kind of.
If there is, here's the thing, Tom. If there is an illustration that illustrates what I'm talking about, yell at me, and then we'll show it.
Okay.
Okay. So right now I'm just gonna walk all the way through where the detection range would actually occur. Okay. All I actually have it pre-marked based on where it ends up. But what we're looking for is the cruise missile basically to get to reach the precipice of a medium observer versus a VLO, which is effectively the radar horizon from the Arleigh Burke from the Roosevelt. Okay. So any questions about that part and how it lines up to Tom's image? Okay. Again, this was the absolute physical limitation of the air search radar, but this is the radar horizon of it. Okay, so this is the absolute maximum range that it would pick it up. Okay, and what we'll do is we're going to go through all this basically through Simplot and through conversation and through looking at the illustrations. But then we'll go back through it and look at I think it's page 8-2. Those steps are pretty well laid out. I personally feel like chapter 8 is one of the best formatted chapters as far as stepwise. So let's just go through it. We can always go back through it again a couple times. All right. So let's continue through. As a matter of fact, I'll just play it through. So here we got the missile coming inbound. We're still not gonna pick it up.
The Burke is not aware.
Still not aware. Still not aware. Still not aware. Still not
By
aware.
itself, if no one else
Right.
holds
Let me
them.
pause it for a second. So if this guy was more at a medium altitude or a high, it probably would have been picked up. Okay, but it's available.
I can check. I didn't thought about checking it. I
Hmm.
can check it quickly.
Yeah, I think
You
it's
go
probably.
ahead, and I
I think
will
it's
check.
probably high or V high. Probably would be picked up at this point. Doesn't matter.
I
It's
think
not.
it might be even on medium,
It's a
maybe.
C skimmer, so it's not going to get it. So that's. I just didn't
Yeah,
want to. I
it's
wanted to
going.
emphasize that to any new players is that if this guy was higher up in altitude, he may have been picked up, but he's not because he's C skimming right now. All right, so we're gonna just go until we get to that detection range, basically. All right. At this point, I just course corrected it. So that's we're at the point where we know the intercept range, and I think if you
Oh,
look back at page 8-2, or it might even be 8-1,
it,
um, kind of
it
don't
would
want
be even detected. Sorry, it would be even detected at low. At low, you can detect at 60 nautical
so what
miles.
we're doing is right now we're going through these steps. We're at the detection range portion. Okay.
Sure. Yes.
And the next step, as you can see, we got it moving up, and we're going to do the reaction time. So we're going to roll 2d6, which I just so happen to have right here. Not particularly ready, but hold on. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so our combat reaction, I roll a 4, and the one thing I didn't do is I didn't. Let's take a look at your cheat sheet. Where is your cheat sheet? That is, I don't know which one it was. Is it this one?
The engagement, I believe.
What I'll do is I'll do it in edit mode, and we'll actually start
No,
putting all these
this is
in.
attack. This is the one you use when you check if you hit.
Okay.
Oh, that's the one.
No, this is the one, right?
Yes.
What am I doing here? Why am I? Oh, I didn't realize you. Let me resize this. All right. So the target distance, really, we've already kind of computed this, right? I mean, we kind of talked through which
Yeah.
one we are going to get. We end up with the 24 nautical miles here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So originally it was at like 150 nautical miles, etc. And then I'm just going to put that here. I don't even know if that was the right
No.
range or not. Let's take a look at the missile real quick. The
I
actual
believe
range is
radar horizon
160.
was 24 nautical miles,
I think I had.
and
Well, I'm just saying that it came in originally at it physically was fired at about 150 nautical miles. Okay. And then the
yeah,
range of the we
of
had
the
it
radar is 63, I believe,
63, I
for
think.
this kind of target, for
Yeah,
very small
63 nautical miles.
missile.
So again, the obvious
Yes, the
smallest
lowest is
is
the
24.
yes.
So we're at 24 here. And then let's take a look at what else we need to use to modify
Yes. So
this.
this is the furthest away that the target can be detected.
Correct.
I mean reacted to,
Right, that's
basically.
the reaction or the detection.
This is the furthest that reaction can be obtained.
Right. So we just rolled a 4, and so we need to determine what the combat system generation is on the Arleigh Burke, which I believe I
Fuck.
can take a quick look.
Which I forgot to place on the.
It's a Gen 6 automatic. Sorry for
But
showing that.
it's the newest, the coolest newest system I
Yeah,
believe you can
it's
have.
this one down yonder, and I'll go ahead and mark it just so we have a marking of it. So it's right here is what we're going to use for the reaction time. So this is the combat system reaction time.
Yeah.
By default, there's no delay, so that's good for the Burke, for Roosevelt.
There is nothing in the system that can delay you
Okay, so
by
I had
design.
rolled a
Four.
4,
You said 4.
and 6 gen auto gives it a +1 here. I will mark that. So I
Four.
didn't I
Oh,
didn't I didn't roll very well, right? So
but still, the system.
just one
All
increment
right,
better.
+1 is bad.
So really we're just adding those together. The target speed. It was starting. Let's take a look at the.
Right, right here. You have everything on my slide if you want to. On the missile. You
Yeah,
have it?
when did you send me the missile one?
Like 3 times, but I can send you again.
No, hold on. Where's the? Yeah, if you can just send it to me again real quick. I don't have the missile
Yeah,
one.
in a second.
Or you can put it into the harpoon's room.
Right, I can. That will be probably better for everyone.
I think I have it on here, but it's 528 knots, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, I sent you. It's 528 knots at this range because this is very special missile.
All right, because I'm not a human calculator,
Yeah,
even though I wish it was, but I'm not. All right,
I can punch it for you,
I got it
or
here.
you can.
It's 4.4, which I'm assuming is that's the nautical miles per
Point 4.4. Oh, I
per
didn't
increment, right?
wrote it. Yeah, I believe it is because you subtracted from the nautical miles. So yeah.
Correct. And what we'll do is we'll slow down for a second here once we compute this,
Yes,
and we'll
let's talk
talk about
about it
everything we
because
just did
that
because
is
we just
something
kind
that
of
probably
kind
is
of rolled
confusing
through
to
that pretty
people.
quickly. All right. So basically, what we're determining here is how much delay there's going to be physically before the systems and the human beings can react together, depending upon what the
Yes,
situation is platform wise, right?
it will be 90. Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
So let's go back
Yeah,
again.
because missile is basically at 24 miles. It is first spot where missile can be
hmm
spotted by the system,
I would say
and now
max
when it
detection
comes, yes.
range, basically, right?
Right, you cannot find it further than this because
Yeah.
the in our instance radar horizon won't allow you to find target further than this. And now because it comes
And then
into
here's
the
the
Spy
delay.
One, the range and the Aegis system uh,
And
starts to have can have awareness of it or start to have awareness of it. We check how much time it takes system to actually get aware of the threat from the range where it can be found. We see how much time it took the in this instance Aegis system, right, which is
right,
I think it is fully automated.
right, and that's
how much
why.
how much time it took it to be aware of the danger. And in our instance it was one increment, so 30 seconds from the
hmm
time it got into the system's range to the awareness. It took 30 seconds for the Aegis to see that holy shit, there is missile coming towards me. And in these 30 seconds, our 528 knots missile, it flew five, almost, well, 4.5 mile before the system was aware of it. So the 19.6 nautical mile is the range where the system actually reacts
Right,
to the missile.
and the only reason I mentioned the human delay is that when you do have earlier combat systems,
Yes,
that's basically baking
exactly.
that in. And I think at some point,
Which is baked in basically in the reaction time.
hmm
Because as you can see, some systems have fixed reaction times, mostly because there are people in the loop.
hmm okay. So any questions from either YouTube and or the folks that are on the Discord? Okay. So that's we've come down to the actual the ability to the engagement range basically. Let's see how it was described in the
Yes,
rules. Sorry,
this is because this is we actually are in
the
the
intercept.
very special situation where the radar that is detecting is also the uh, radar that is fire control
Right. So we're trying to get
for
back. We're
everything.
trying to. We've done the detection range, moving it through the detection on step twos. We've done the reaction time and compared it to that system table. And again, I'm trying to key this back into the rules, hopefully without showing too much here. And what we're trying to get down to is the intercept range, right? And that's what we're about to do. Okay.
because this is the range at which we are detected, but now we check the range at which the missiles can intercept. That's, as I said, this is we have very special case because all system is integrated, but in many earlier types of ships, the detection will be done by one radar, the interception or uh, basically the interception will be done by other radar, and the missiles might have much lesser range than the actual radar that is detecting the target,
All right,
right?
so we can probably go through this lighter blue section here pretty quickly,
Yes,
because
we
this
should do that.
is
This will be the same exactly because, as I said, now we see what's the range of 3D
mhm.
or high HF is height finding radar, the radar that finds the height of the
So
target.
this was the range of that one. It happens to be the same system, right? So
It
then,
happens to be the same because, well, 63 and radar horizon 42,
yeah, you're
it
right.
happens to be the same because this is one integrated radar, but anything before 1990s, I believe, is there were two separate radars, one for high finding and one for detection. So in this instance, we punch exactly the same numbers because it is the same
Okay, so it's
radar.
not lower than it. So then this is 24 still. Just kind of showing you this because yes, older systems this can be there can be differences in this. That's the main thing
Yes.
we're showing. All right, so now we're kind of down to the point. Any questions on that right there? And this is for the sake of again older platforms that have a separate 3D, which is not the case here, right?
Yes.
So now we're
And
moving
below
on.
15 nautical miles, it is basically you don't need to have height finding radar below 15 nautical miles.
Right,
So this
exactly.
is this point.
hmm
Yes.
So now we're on to basically determining whether the SAM, what the SAM range, right? Let's
Right.
see the actual. We're going to use. What are we going to use on this? Let's go take a look at the platform we have here.
We can use the dead list, DSM-6. I don't know. We had this discussion because right
Yeah,
now
I really feel like well, this is a great public topic here. Is which missile would you fire? Still blurry.
we can't fire. Oh no, we can fire ESSM actually. I wonder if we can fire all of them. I don't think so.
No, let's. Why don't we? Do you want to just cut them? Let use an SM2MR. I mean, there's. I don't think there's any reason to
Basically, the
use the.
only the only difference will be in the chance to hit between them, I believe.
All right, so let's look at the capabilities here. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the ATA rating. Well, let's take a look at that. I mean, let's describe that. As you can see, here's the SM6, which has a obviously longer range, but it also has a better what is that anti-air
Yeah.
rating, right?
ATA rating is the rating the chance the higher the ATA rating, the higher the chance to kill the target.
And do we feel like that's just a technology
Yes,
improvement?
basically it's technology improvement. In many ways, it's just the algorithm and software improvements
Right,
actually,
right.
which is very interesting in
So
my
otherwise,
opinion.
it's almost identical, right? I would think that,
Right.
and I
It's
and
it's
I'm
5%. I believe it is a 5% difference.
so I'm
The
assuming it
point
was
five.
based, maybe he's based on the same whatever chassis of the missile and so forth. But
Yes, because it's the evolved version of SM2.
mhm. So it was
The
originally designed what as an anti-ballistic missile,
the
AW.
SM6, yes.
Yeah.
The main capability of SM6 is it can actually intercept ballistic missiles in their terminal phase.
So
And I
just
believe,
so why don't we use the SM2MR just because it's probably the more
yeah,
globally
probably,
available
yeah, the
at any
cheaper.
one time. It's a little cheaper. They probably I don't know if anybody firing.
Although Wikipedia, I checked Wikipedia and Wikipedia says that SM3. Oh, right, I checked SM3. Okay, never mind.
It's all
Because
right.
I
We'll we'll,
checked.
we'll use
No
this.
worries.
That's fine. All
Yeah,
right.
let's use SM2 because it is basically the standard missile that is used to intercept the incoming
All
targets,
right.
right?
So this is the information we need. Let's go look at what we
Yeah,
were
range
looking
range
at.
of it is 90 nautical miles.
Yeah.
So
Hold on a second.
so we have range. We are in range.
So let's look at what you have here though. So closing
Okay, there are.
non-maneuvering target and
I
target
will.
speed.
I will check the.
Okay, my brain is
Okay, there are questions on YouTube. I will answer some of them. Do missiles still have radar arcs in H5? Yes, they do, but it is mostly due to mount, and VLS mount can fire 360. So the radar arcs are basically all around 360-degree, and mounts do have arcs of fire that are limited, but we use VLS, vertical launch system, which has 360-degree coverage. So we don't go into that here. Mm,
Okay.
Using the same directors. Yes, basically the director here, as I said, we have very special case where the detection and the fire control and director is the Spy 1D. Some earlier ships and older ships uh, have different directors and different radars to search and then track targets. But in instance of Arleigh Burke, we have basic the best thing you can have. So it is integrated system that searches, detects, tracks, and direct missiles.
You're right. That's right here on the annex
I will try to
SPG
check
20
for comment.
SPG. It uses the
Yes, but
SPG 62, right? As a
uh,
controller, a director,
all
excuse
right.
me. You
Yes.
see this here?
Well, wait. Well,
Wait, where is the?
the director is next to the missile. It should be next to the missile. So, oh, right, there are three SPG-62, but wait, that's for Tomahawk.
Right.
No, I think in this instance the SM2s use Spy 1D as director. At least that's the knowledge I have outside of Harpoon.
I think it's
Because
right.
you have
I
SPG
think it's shown right here. You see
SPG-62, or is
this?
it for everyone, or is it for everything? SPG-62 because it's after Tomahawks. So
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a typo. All right.
no, engage air and BMD targets at the same time. Third generation BMD you have here,
Yeah,
Spy 1D.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the director is honestly at this point.
I think the director is Spy 1D is also a director.
Okay. I mean, where is that stated? Or
Good
is it
question.
just?
Not here where you just in the remark where you just
Yeah.
shown Spy 1D can detect and engage air and BMD up. You need to go up and to the right. Oh, you have it. Can detect and engage air and BMD targets at same time. Third generation BMD. That's the refit. I don't know if it is only for SM2. Oh no, so for these SM6s or is it for everything? But
I
I
don't
believe
know.
it.
That's the problem. They got too many
Yeah,
weapons. I mean, it's too capable, right? It's like
right.
it's like it doesn't have. Okay, sorry. So
Let me
we'll figure
see.
it out.
Let me see what's SPG
Let's
62.
continue through
That
the
is, yeah.
through this, and then we'll try to get answers on the director. All right. So again, explain to me then. Just remind me the 1.5 versus the 2. What? And this is right now. It's a 1.5, right?
Yes, closing maneuvering target, and target is between 500 and 2000 knots.
Okay.
So
So
yes, this is the range. The range is multiplied, and yeah.
here's the question for later.
Hmm.
What about when it sprints?
Oh, yeah,
All right,
you're
so
right.
that's because that's one thing we don't want to forget is that this.
You know what? You need to basically because we will go through increments, right?
Okay.
Oh
Yep.
no, sorry, engagements are not through increments. Yeah, that's very good question.
Okay. We'll
And
we'll we'll get that
we'll
answered
go
if we
through
have
it.
to.
Yeah.
We'll wing it and then we'll get it. So right now though, it's within this band. So the range really would be 1.5 times this. La la la. All right. So just
Okay, you know what?
135 here. The actual SAM range is 135. But Why is that computed here right now, though?
And to see because now you check to see if you can intercept.
Right.
You look if you go a little higher on my cheat
And I
sheet.
guess this is the other consideration too, right? That it's not too close as well, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
If you happen to have to detect target at, let's say here 60 or 20 nautical miles, but it turned out that your missiles only can shoot to, let's say, 10, then even if you have good reaction and you reacted to the threat, you check if you can only engage it because the limited range of the missile. Because you can, in older systems, you can probably detect target and react to it before it gets into the actual weapons range. So here you check if your weapon range is shorter than the detection and reaction.
Okay. Which again, we're back down to basically the reaction time. I mean, more often than not, it's this, right?
Right.
Based on modern SAM intercept, right? Most SAMs
Yeah.
are well beyond the reaction range, just in general, right? Would you agree?
Sorry, because I was
In other
checking the
words,
chat.
this is the lowest value, and it's more often than not going to be the lowest value in
Yes,
in modern
yes,
interception.
mostly in modern systems against cruise missiles, it will be the reaction range will be the
Okay.
lowest value.
So then what we do, we take the 19.6 and put it here just to
And
kind
you
of
put it
determine.
here.
Let's just
Yes,
put a
on
little
this
marker.
range
So we're about
bar. So it's about 20, right? So it's about here. So it is in medium
medium.
one engagement range. And based on that, you check how many engagements you have. And you raised important point because this missile is very special. It has only special
Because
cases
I like
erased.
to pick things that make things difficult for us, right? All right,
Right.
all right. So again, the question mark though becomes, when it gets within. I think I did mark it on
Wasn't
here.
I can't remember if it was
When it gets within
explained.
10, when it gets within 10.8. So let's.
Yeah,
So
around
how?
11.
I think what they did is
Very
they actually
close.
factored that in with a rule caveat here. I remember doing this. I remember taking this down. Is right here.
Okay.
Sprint vehicle. A few missiles, for example, the YJ-18, have a final stage that fires when it's close to its target. Vehicle accelerates extremely high, Mach 3, etc. This may make it a harder target. Um, Reduce the number of engagements against missiles with a sprint vehicle by one. First in the short band, and if there are none there, then in the point.
Okay.
Okay. So we need to keep this in mind when we do when we look at the intercept tables here, and
Yes.
that's what we're going to do next,
Okay.
right? All right. So what are we at? We're at a velo.
Okay. Okay. So
Wait, you have this built into your cheat sheets, don't you?
mm, what? Which this?
Uh,
Well,
We're trying to find the
basically
intercept. We're trying to find how many
to-
interceptions there are,
yes. So you need to go to. We know it's medium one on my cheat sheet, but this is
but we need to
because now
use.
we need to check the number of interceptions we can perform, and for that we need to use this table, and I didn't,
Right. That's fine.
copy it
That's
because I
fine.
would basically need to copy it.
All right. So
So Velo.
Relo, we know we are sixth auto.
Oh, one thing you need to check is the speed of the missile, right? So
We are, yeah, right
yeah, we
now
are six
here
auto,
we're
but
within
yeah,
this.
medium one at Velo, so it doesn't even okay. It's subsonic and transonic, so yes, it's
Hold on a
not
second. Let's check that.
supersonic.
It's not.
No, it's subsonic. It's
Transonic, right?
500, 500. It doesn't matter. Subsonic and transonic is here the
Right.
same.
So the problem though is that it becomes
No,
within.
it's so we have one engagement at medium, three at short, and one
Mm,
at point blank. And what you said previously, we remove one interception at short, right? So we will have only 2S and point blank will be still
Okay.
1.
And if it didn't have an
I
S, then
think.
it would just take the point blank, right? Okay. Okay,
Yes.
so we have, let's copy this
But
over so I
we
don't.
are not below 15
What do you mean?
because interception is at 19 point something, right?
Yeah. Just
So
give me.
we use this part of the table. And here is
But here, are you not supersonic at that point? Or no? I guess they're just saying don't go
no,
all the way
but we are here using we are using here. I believe the rule for the sprint vehicle is
hmm
just
to remove one.
checking,
Right.
but
So
we
we
don't
take
use
one of
this.
these
Let's
off. We
no.
just take.
But why do you use this intercept range? We have intercept range above 15 nautical miles from what I've seen. No, we only use the first one. The
Oh, I'm
second one
sorry. I'm
is
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I only. We
second
only.
one is ignored. We
That's
only
right. I'm
check
sorry.
these ones.
Mm-hmm.
The intercept range is between 15.1 and
Mm-hmm.
30, so it's one medium, three in short range, and one in point blank. And I believe we remove
One
short
of the
range
short.
band, and if there are none there, then in the point.
Yeah.
So we just because of the sprint vehicle, we have two short range interceptions. There is some questions in chat. I will look to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Do air-to-surface missiles have radar arcs, or is it just the placement role? Uh, they do have radar arcs, but if it's good placement role, I believe the radar arcs are disregarded, and you just are in the spot to intercept your intended target. The radar arcs of the missiles are only of surface missiles are only considered if you miss your original target to see target of opportunity gets there. Yeah, and actually I totally botched it. We need to use the SPG-62 is actually the director for the SM2, not the Spy 1D. I don't know in what science fiction I read that Spy 1D can also be a director for the missiles. So yeah, my bad. But I believe the SPG-62 can intercept as far as the missile can go, so we are fine here, and we don't need to use any mm, use other things. So okay, just we need to check what generation it is, but I believe this generation is the same as the overall uh, system. Short range for next engagement at 15. No, I believe we don't. I'm not sure what this question means. Short range for next engagement at 15. No, we do not use the new sprint speed to see if number of engagements left. Not really. From what we see here in the rule that Peter shown, if there is a because you only perform interception once, and let's say you intercept this missile by let's say this missile fly at low altitude, not at very low altitude, which I believe is the case with some Russian missiles. You then engage it at you can engage it at I think 60 nautical miles then, and it will fly 50 nautical miles with normal cruising speed and just sprint for the last 1/6 of the range. And because the engagement rules not allow, but for engagement to be quick, you only roll once or check once for the number of engagements. You do not check it for different table or different row on tables.
Yeah, I
When
think
missile get closer,
right.
there is a rule where just if there is a sprint vehicle, you remove number of engagements from the short band, and that's it. Which is fine. I believe
Yeah, I
it's
think it's fine. Is it enough? Yeah. I mean, again,
no. It's
that's.
in my opinion, it's enough because less 10 miles is just sprinted. In our instance, it is almost half of the range
I almost feel
we
like
have for interception, right? But
my argument is that it probably should potentially get rid of the point blank as well. Now that doesn't mean that would be my
maybe.
argument. My argument would be that it
But
probably should.
then, no, you know why? I believe not, because in point blank you always get engage interception in point
Yeah,
blank,
you're okay. All right.
because point blank are basically guns, but guns are heavily penalized for supersonic
Well, what
targets,
this
and
is
you will
saying
use.
though, no, what this is saying though is that a SAM can do it if it's capable of doing it. That's what I argue. That's what
Yes,
I argue
yes,
is that
but you know it can shoot once,
right.
and then you use the actual speed of the missile there, which will be above 2,000 knots,
Okay, so that will
and
come in.
that
So
gives
that
you.
speed will come into play when we're looking at your next chart.
Yes, for the it will come into play when we go into the chance of a hit.
Okay. All right. So we know now how many we have according to this ruling of sprint vehicle. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's go to the next chart and let's
Oh
do
yeah,
the same thing.
there will be a problem in a moment, but let's
Hold
do
on a
this
second. Is
when.
this the right one? All right. Let me edit
Okay,
that.
so we have
Hold on one second.
basically first we have one engagement at medium
Yep.
range,
Just hold
right?
on.
No, number of engagements include only one missile system. Guns get shot in the point blank range. Basically, all guns get one shot, and autonomous guns get two shots
Correct.
at incoming missiles, and that's it.
All right.
Number of engagements for that is
I mean,
two.
for this tutorial, I mean, I didn't do a whole salvo of these missiles. We can adjust that. The main thing is just to see. Wait, what's going on? Hey Tom, you're sounding real bad.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Oh, no, don't move. Someone just check out.
Fine.
I think Poland was just invaded.
Can you hear me?
No,
How about now?
don't move.
How about now?
Yes, better now.
Okay, that's the goddamn cable. Okay, I need to check it later. Do you actually check how many missiles are coming?
No, I mean, we're gonna adjust that for tutorial sake. Right now, we're
Yeah.
just we're gonna keep adding missiles and see how many missiles it will
Okay,
take
sure.
to get through. That's basically my point
That's
here,
fine.
right? Because
Yes,
the
that's
point here
fine.
is that it's going to be very difficult to do it with one or two missiles, right? But let's just we're assuming there's one
Yeah.
missile and we'll
Yeah.
add more missiles as
Yeah,
we need to.
let's see how many hits we
All
could
right. So what
get.
is the missile ATA rating? Let's go take a look. I should have had this ready. I think you have it in one of your things. Why am I not seeing that here? Oh, I'm sorry. The other missile is it is over here. So we were intercepting with the SM2R, correct?
Correct.
We can always
So
recalculate it
we
if
have
we need to
one
later.
first what we need to check, and I believe it's on my cheat sheet somewhere, because we get one engagement in medium, and the number of missiles that now how many missiles we can fire is dependent on the quality of our director, which I believe is in the engagement, not this one, the you know which one, the previous one,
All
the
right, give me a
number of
second.
missiles
Just hold
that
on.
we can, or do you want to calculate the chance of the kill, chance to kill, rather?
Down here, this salvo summary right here. All right, let's just let me hold on. Let me
Yeah,
edit it
here.
again.
Oh, yeah, it's
Just give me a
this
second.
some salvo summary, because we have 6th generation combat system auto. We do use, I believe it is.
Right here. And we are.
Yeah.
Wait, we're looking
So
at the SM2R. Let's take a look at that. Just hold on. Let's do it right.
6th generation. I believe SM2 is INM and
Oof.
TSI.
Wow.
Uh, because you need to check the system, and you need to see the guidance.
Yep. So it's right here.
So it is inertial, mid-course correction, terminal, whatever, lot of.
Right.
So it's terminal semi-active. So channels per director, it's 4. Oh my god, we can shoot so many of
Yeah,
them.
it's ridiculous. Okay, so
So
let's slow the roll and figure that out because we're gonna need to figure it out, right? So, channels for director 4. There are 3 directors, are there not?
yes, the question is, can we? Because I believe only the front, at least because I remember the radar dishes looking at the ship, only the ones at the bow can fire, can direct forward in
Correct.
forward
I
front.
mean, correct, and that's what we have. I mean, we somewhat have that depicted here, right? It's
I think so.
can the
Rear?
rear
No,
director.
not on cheat sheets. No, the rear director. I need to see the. Can you show the? Yeah, it can if the ship is positioned this way. The blind dark is 60 degree to the front, so that should be okay. I think the two directors are at the rear. I totally forgot about them, and there is no slide about them.
Okay,
Sorry for
so
that.
that's all right. I'm just looking around.
This is the point. This is the point defense. I
All right.
will amend it later,
Okay.
but we don't have slide for it because,
Okay. So then,
as
are
I
we?
said, I thought Spy 1D can
So
go.
at a minimum, let's think at a minimum. Let's just say, like, how many
So one
directors?
one director one director can one director have 4 channels per director, and 2 missiles can be directed by 1 channel. So, and that's actually something that I can remember is if that if missiles at 1 channel can attack different targets, or no, I believe it is just 2 missiles
I think
at
it's
the same
per.
target,
It's to the
right?
same target. Yes, this is
Yes,
to the
so
same target.
we
I
can
did read that.
engage, and that would track. We can engage 12 targets at the same time, 2 missiles
Or 6
per
with 2,
target.
or whatever you.
Wait, if all directors are in R,
Right,
and
right.
I believe
Let
all are,
again.
and we
Let
assume all are.
let's not even assume that. Let's just use one director right now, and then we will multiply it later. It's okay, just for tutorial sake. Let's say the other directors are out of service right now for some stupid reason. One
Yeah.
director, 4 channels, 2 missiles per channel, and you can either spread it out to then that's a total of 8 targets, or 4 targets with 2 missiles each. Correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
basically.
so
You
at
can you can
its
engage up to 4 targets each with 2 missiles at the same time, with one engagement.
each with 2. And again, this was if just one director is available. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's agreeing on that? Or at least can disagree and we can talk about it later? I'm just kidding.
No,
All right,
the only thing I
again,
think
this is a
the
very
only thing
important
I
thing
think remember,
because
yeah.
I know that when we've played the game in real time, this always is a catching point and it delays the game considerably not knowing this. So, as new players of Harpoon, this is something to reread again. We'll try to get some more clarity on how many. We'll try to get some more clarity and respond to the video later on how many directors can be used for this. I believe it's at least one, if not 2, forward. Okay, but what
No,
we've
I
done.
believe if we have with one director, we can engage 4 targets, each with 2 missiles
Correct,
in the same engagement.
and in this
Because
case
there is
we
a
have.
question, there was a question. So limit is number of engagements time 2 missiles. I don't fully understand this one actually, but basically right now we will engage. We roll for hits at medium interception range, at medium engagements, and if anything
Okay,
goes
so let me.
through, then we recheck how many we can engage
Right,
at
that's the
mid.
way the rules say it too. That you can do it. You can wait and check, right? But we have
Right.
one. Let's just say we have one inbound YJ-18. Let's just say we have one inbound. That's it.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
only you can
Okay.
only fire 2 missiles at it, though, right?
Yeah, that's something I don't know.
I think you
I
can only fire.
think you can saturate it with
That's
eight.
no. See, that's the thing. That's where we've had contention in the past, right? Let's just say,
Okay, so
okay,
that's
let's look
that's
at each of these situations. You have 2, or even 3 or 4. Let's just put 3 for a little bit of spice
Yeah,
here.
I can't remember how the rules say it, but I believe you can saturate your target in this instance. It's
I
not that
don't know. I the way the
I don't
way I played it, the way I've played it is that you get two missiles on this, and that's it.
that's
You
it.
would have two missiles on a second one. You would have two
Question
missiles on a third
question
one. So this is what you do. What I always the
question
way I always refereed it, and hopefully I didn't do it wrong for the past entire year, which is very possible. But
you might.
it's fine. I don't care. Whatever.
You might be.
Uh, what the way I judge it is you have two missiles against this one. If you kill it, you move on to the second one. If you kill it, you move on to the third one. You kill it, you move
Yeah,
on to the
I
fourth one,
don't.
and then it
Oh
can
no.
do each director can do up to four targets. So
Yes,
that's
but I'm
how
not
I would
sure
judge it.
if that's what.
Okay, so that's how I'm
I don't
gonna.
know. That's question to Larry
Okay,
and
so
Chris.
that's how I would rule it, unless I'm told otherwise. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll get a correction on it. All right. So let's look
Yeah,
at
because
the.
I think you can, because it's the channel number of channels here is not the number of targets you can. The limit of channels is not the limit of the number of targets you can track. I believe this is the number of missiles you
I think
can
it's the
have
number of
link on.
independent targets that you can track,
Independent targets.
and that
I
each
don't
one can
know,
have two fired
man.
at it.
Oh man, I
And
don't
I
know.
think that this might even be a physical limit. I don't know, but
It is the physical limitation, but I thought this is the physical limitation of the number of missiles you can have, maybe not in this instance link with, but the number of missiles you can, guide. This is the number. I thought this is physical limitation of number of missiles you can guide at the same time, uh, but I might be wrong.
okay, we'll get
So
we'll
yeah,
get a correction on it. This doesn't really affect. What this affects is just how many you can fire. In all these situations, we're going to use two missiles no matter what right now. So the computation is going to be the same. We will get clarity on this, and we will provide clarity on it, right? But let's
no,
move into intercepting. Just let's move into firing two SAMs at the one YJ-18A. All right. So then the missile rating was 3.5 for the Smart 2, right? All right. Oh wait.
sorry, I'm
Yes,
reading
and
this.
then the target maneuvering rating for the YJ. I think it's a non. I don't think it has a maneuvering rating, does it?
You might be correct in your assumption that if you have one target, you cannot saturate it. But let's ask Chris and yeah, and Larry.
Is there a maneuver rating on
No,
their non-maneuver?
I believe I punched it into the cheat sheet because the non-maneuvering targets has,
Maneuver
I
zero.
believe, the 0. 0.5. No, I believe the 0.5 is for all the cruise missiles. Did I punched it? Not really.
It might
Target
be it might be
evading.
elsewhere, but so it doesn't have a rating, right?
I can remember. I need to check because this SAM attack table was made, I believe,
And
for
then
no, it should be universal. So I believe it might be zero because it's not evading targets. So
right,
maneuver rating.
right, and I think that
The
that
target.
that that is. I think there's a. Isn't there a?
I need to check because I vaguely remember that in Harpoon, but I might be wrong, and it might be in Harpoon 4.1 that all cruise missiles had automatic zero point 0.5 maneuver rating, but here I believe it is just non-maneuvering target and it is the
Okay,
maneuver rating
I think
is
we can
zero.
move on. I think it's zero.
Yes,
So
let's
that's
say
zero goes here, and it kind of doesn't matter where we're at. We just put it in where the arrow is pointing. So the
zero is later. Yeah, we had Dylan's
all
suggestions
right.
about
So
that, right?
the combat system modifier, the ship's gen was 6 auto,
Yes,
missile
6
target. So I'm
auto
just gonna
and
mark
missile
what we're
target
looking at.
ATA mode. So you use the missile target ATA mode because it's not the
Yep.
aircraft, so it is 1.5.
All right. I'll slow down just a second in case there are any questions specific to these. This was the ATA rating of the YJ-18A. Oh, no, excuse me, the Smart 2, right? That we're
Mm,
using
yeah.
over. I got so many darn images up. Sorry, y'all. This right here, 3.5. This is what I'm using right there.
Wait, what are you trying?
We're firing the SM2MR
Uh,
right here.
Speed.
I'm
No,
looking at the
it is
ATA
very
rating.
it is very low capable. Yes, it is skimmer capable. ATA rating is 3.5,
Right.
and the rest is whatever.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to slow down and tell people why I'm putting these numbers
Okay,
in. All right.
okay, sure.
All right. So
Sorry.
then the target
Yes, because
maneuvering
there was previously question that you checked for the best A to ATA rating to intercept. Basically, yes. In our case, we will have discussion because the six SM6s that we have are better
specifically
than
for
SM2, but they are high-end, costly missiles that can shoot, Sputnik probably if it want to. And
right. I mean, you're
we had discussion if the doctrine allows to use them in self-defense in this way, or would they be, especially in China seas where China actually is
has ballistic missiles.
exper
Yes. Exactly.
yes, experimenting with the ballistic missiles if they would shoot them first. That was our question about doctrine, because if we are not bound by doctrine, that absolutely we would shoot them first probably.
Right. So it's a good quandary, and people can debate it however they want. I don't know. Of course, if you're sitting on that boat, that ship, and you want to survive, you're
Exactly.
going to use whatever the hell you got. Now, whether or
Yeah,
not the
exactly.
Aegis system, I don't know if the Aegis system is deciding this for them, right? So,
It's probably do, but they probably have,
look, they
the
don't have a congressional module on there that checks the price of the missile. I don't know. I don't know.
who
We'll see.
knows.
All right. So yeah, that's the
That
congressional governor
quickly does cost benefit
cost benefit analysis
calculations
complete. All right.
before launching.
All right. Well, again, the reason we picked this is that more platforms have this probably
Yes.
available. Okay, that's the only reason I'm doing that, really.
Well, according to Annex, basically all of them have. I wonder if
I
they do
what
actually.
SM6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Whatever.
I
Yeah,
I,
maybe by
I
now they might.
probably
But
not.
all
The
right.
the
So
guys that are probably in China seas have, and guys that were in the next to Iran, I believe, have them because actually I believe they will use.
yeah, you would think that you would have more of them in the areas that
No,
you.
because you know where I think they will actually use in combat. They will use near Israel
Mm-hmm.
to cover from Iran's Scads,
Yep.
and I don't know if they didn't actually shoot some of
I thought
them
they might
in
have.
real life.
I don't know if it was a British ship that did that. I don't know. Whatever. That's what's going on in my
Someone
mind.
did. I believe
Yeah,
someone did
I think it
in
was a
live
British ship.
fire.
Um, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. All right. So let's look at the anti-air missile countermeasures. There.
Yeah, this we can skip because this is only used basically if the aircraft is evading and dropping chaffs and flares.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So we
and
just.
because the Gen, oh yeah, I should probably amend this because yeah, I didn't take it into account. Maybe I will write somewhere, missile jammer zero generation because missile don't have decoys and jammers, right? I at least I think so that there is none. I
So
don't
we're
know if
just zero, right?
I bet Russians maybe tried to, get chaff and flares on the missiles, but
So bearing rate
no.
modifier.
Yes.
Um,
So
I
I
think.
need to, if it is cruise missile, I need to get here. I believe some notation that if it is cruise missile, this is zero.
So let's look at the bearing rate modifier. We're coming in pretty much
Yeah, in front.
starboard front
Basically, if
bow.
target is going directly at you, you get the closing modifier. Because bearing rate is basically how far in terms of bearing the missile is moving in one tactical turn, and this one is zero because each turn it is the same bearing which is in front of us.
All right, so then
It's
range. Then we're looking at range band modifiers. We're at medium one, right?
yes,
So
range band modifier. Our first will be medium one, which is zero. Oh, all of them will be zero because as you can see, the
all right. So
medium
target
below
sizes of
medium one is zero, so we can just
the target size is V
use it for all of
small.
them.
The
Yep.
YJ-18A is V small, right? So this is
Yes,
minus
exactly.
one
It's V small.
because it's tiny-ish. Target speed modifiers. Now this is where we would. This is
Yeah.
where we would, based on where it's at, adjust
At medium,
the
it will be
here. It'll still be here.
transonic.
So 0.
It's transonic.
So 0.
No, yes, 0 because it's 528.
But
But
when
now
we get
10
within
nautical miles,
10 nautical mile 10.8 nautical miles, then we start to
it gets to
use this one, I think. -2.
it will be medium supersonic. But the
Yep.
question is,
Well, we might not. We're
it's
not going to get
10,
there probably, based on how many missiles we're about to fire at this.
maybe, but I would check because here's my problem. If you bring up the table with the range ruler, the engagement table,
Which one?
we have I
This.
believe the one when where we calculated the engagement, the reaction time, and
This
uh,
or
no,
this?
not this, the cheat sheet, where we
Right here.
calculated. No, this is not radar horizon. The How do I have lag? Oh, this one, yes.
Hold on a
If
sec. Hold on.
maybe I have terrible lag.
No, it's probably just
Okay,
a little bit behind. Yeah.
check the ruler at the very bottom because
Right.
we calculate for the range band, right? And short extends from we have one or two engagements in short.
Hold on a second. I think I just need to
I believe
save
two
this.
because this missile accelerates to Mach 3, 10 nautical miles, well, 11 nautical miles from a target, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the short range band extends to
Damn
15,
it, dude.
and we have two engagements. Now the question, do we use this speed for all engagements in
No.
short,
No. Well,
or only
you would use
some
them.
of them?
You would use. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good
Right?
question. That's a good question. I think you. I
Because
think you just gate. I think you have to judge it. So I would probably
probably
say two
you need
thirds.
to maybe roll
It
or
would be
do
two
the
thirds.
roll or
It would be
something,
about
right?
2/3 of it, right?
Yes, in two thirds.
So
Well,
it would be
two
two
thirds
thirds
of
of it.
them rounded up or down.
Yeah, I'd probably round it up. So two
Because if
thirds
there
rounded up.
if there would be, because we have two engagements, if there
Right,
would be three, that's easy.
right.
Two
I
with
mean, I'd say just knock an engagement off, or
or just roll, right? If they
well
were
that
lucky.
I think at least one of them
No,
needs to be.
at least one. Yes, at least I want to say at least one of them need to be at this speed.
I
That's
would say
correct.
so. Yes,
Yes,
if this was 3, then it would be 2 of them. If
yes,
this is
at least
2, I'd say at least one of them.
yeah,
Okay, I think
at
that's a
least one of
reasonable.
them. That's
I think that's
right.
a reasonable. I think that's a
Yeah, so
reasonable
this
judgment.
is. I understand why they don't put rule for it. I guess because
Well, no,
that would
the
be
only thing is, yeah, I mean they already mentioned overall this reduction, and I don't know if they also intend. My mouse just gave up. Lovely. No, here it goes. All right. So they gave you this rule to kind of take care of it, but
yeah.
what's a little.
Yeah, but now the question: we will roll twice on intercept, and what modifier do we use? Although you know what, in actual play, because bring up the interception, the kill calculation.
I'm right here.
What's the difference in modifier between?
Oh, there's it's pretty good.
Um,
It's pretty significant. It's a -2, so it's
yeah,
0 or
but
-2. But
it will be, I believe it will be 10%, right? So I would actually probably roll first and see if it even is close, right? If it makes the difference, and if it makes the difference, then I probably would roll, 75% chance that
well,
it actually was
for tutorial's sake, let's just show them what the difference would be. I mean, and then
yes,
I'm
exactly.
not as concerned as to how many of these interceptions there are. I just want to show the full
Yeah,
interception,
right.
and then we.
The rules behind it
Right.
too.
So and then how it will change as you get shorter potentially. So right here, so let's just take a look at that. So this isn't really going to change as you get closer. This isn't really going to change as you get closer unless you were way
So
out.
let's
The
see
only the only major
what's the
difference will be
actual.
that when it speeds up.
Yes.
Anything else that would fundamentally
Target
change?
is,
Nothing really.
yeah, point depends. That won't change. Yeah, range
Right.
bands won't change
So
anything. The speed will
target is
change.
sea
Yeah.
skimming. Yes. Is the SAM sea skimmer capable, or is the
It
target the
is.
director?
It is, and you check it by looking at the missile and see its envelope. I wrote it
Yeah, right here.
on the
See it?
slide.
All right.
So yeah, it's very low, so it's fine.
All right, so we're good there. So full capability. So we are 0 here as well. So what are we at? We're at 5 overall, right?
Right.
So then the main difference is 5
-5.
overall without the
No,
medium
wait.
supersonic.
It's 5. Wait.
3.5.
For
Look. Oh,
yes,
-1. I'm sorry.
3.5, but -1 for very small.
Yep.
So it's 4 actually.
Where did my eraser go? My mouse decided to screw up, so I'm using my laptop mouse thingy majiggy.
So we have 4 row
Yes, you're correct.
when it goes transonic before
And
ejecting
then
the sprint vehicle.
two when
And that will
sprinting.
be
Okay, so again, now we just look at the probabilities here. We have a 4 on the 4 row with 2 missiles. That's a 91% chance of a hit, of taking out the
yes.
1 missile.
And
Okay,
now if it suddenly goes
so let's just look at that, and then let's slow down and let's talk about all the differences again. All right, so
right.
again, when it is transonic, which is most of the flights and most of the range bands, right? It's a 91% kill using 2
Yes,
missiles from the direct by way of the director. Okay.
exactly.
If for some reason there's a bunch of missiles, a large salvo coming in, you might, I don't know. You'd have to make the
You
judgment
can
call.
kill if you have, yeah, but you have pretty good chance. Let's do calculation how they usually done that. So with all directors you could engage 12, right? Times 91, it's you could shut down 11 of them with reasonably
So if
good
I was a
chance.
Chinese missile designer, what would I do?
Launch
I would
lots
I
of
would
them.
I would add I would somehow, well, first of all, yes, I would launch a bunch of them, yes. But in other words, what is the sprint vehicle gaining you if you're not going to get it into the, if you're not going to be able to sprint?
You know,
It's almost like you're
you know
just,
what it's gain you. I will tell you what it gains you.
it's like, I feel
Because
like,
you are now, here's the problem. You are now engaging Arleigh Burke. Although now I thought because China, I believe, builds them with main adversary as the Japan and
mm-hmm,
maybe Taiwan,
okay.
right? Where systems are not so sophisticated. But then I thought, damn it, Japan also has Aegis. I believe
Right, they do.
they have basically
All right, so
carbon copy
let's,
of Arleigh Burke, right? They developed it. I checked the SM2s are made in Japan, I believe. The Kawasaki or someone else's Mitsubishi, I believe, is producing a bunch of them. so, so I don't know. Sprint vehicle, no, if you're not lucky. If you are lucky, some of them will go through, maybe. But I bet it's it's good capability against the
so
adversary
let's go
with
back
less
let's go back
sophisticated
and
system.
let's go back and think about all this, right? So we have, oh god, I lost my
But
text.
if I calculated it for all 3 directors, if you have only 1 director, it can shut down 3 to 4 missiles, right? If you are lucky and get only into 1 director here.
Hold on, we already did it before. I just forgot to freaking save it, of course. So you got 1 director
With 1 director,
times 4
you can
channels
reasonably shot three
time
missiles coming.
firing 2 missiles at each inbound. Again, let's just think about this again.
Next
This is the
time I
bare
go.
minimum, right? 1 director, 4 channels, firing 2 missiles, each channel firing 2 missiles. So that's upwards of 8
Yes,
fires
at
on.
inbound target. Exactly.
So that's 8 rolls. Excuse me.
No, four
Four
roll.
four
Because you
rolls
roll once
of
for 2 missile
four
salvo.
rolls of this to take it out. So how many missiles do you need to send inbound to have any chance of getting them?
If how many missiles go at you? Sorry, because I
What
thought you were saying how
salvo
many missiles. Because
size
one
to
one
send?
salvo. as I said, if you launch 8 missiles, you have reasonable chance of shooting down three incoming targets with ease. Oh, how many to go through? Okay, I get it. So if it is one director, you plan the worst case scenario, you need to have 4 missiles here, because 4 missiles will probably be shut
At
down
least,
at
and
least.
that's just their intercept here.
No, no, at least three, at most probably four. So
Because right,
four, you
because that's
right?
just this intercept right here. That's
Yes,
just this one
exactly.
intercept. So
So
then
four
and
missiles
then we
go
get to do two
short,
here.
too short.
So
Yes,
that's four. That's eight. That's at least 12. And then you have
yes,
a
but
point blank.
yes, but now's the question about the short, because at short, if we assume that the sprint vehicle is launched at the short, and let's say the whole short band gets the supersonic modifier, right? So let's see what was the chance of shooting down the.
It was like, hold on a second. It was
It was 20%, something like
darn it.
20% less, right?
Yeah, just hold on. I got it somewhere.
And I will
Yeah,
bring up one another thing
it's right here.
in a
It's right
second.
here. It's 75% instead of 91%. But
75%.
that's only
So
within. That's only on one of the S's, right? But I mean, so in other
yep.
words, I mean, you got to send it over a dozen, at least,
So if
right?
it is twice, you need to send another six. Yeah, something like 20, probably 25. But you know what? There is another thing I didn't take into account, because I don't know how small the
And this,
sprint
and again,
sprint vehicle is,
and something to keep in
because I
mind.
wonder if. Yeah, sorry, can I finish? Because I don't know if you shouldn't use stealthy signature on sprint vehicle
What,
also,
what do you mean?
because the sprint vehicle, if you look at my slide with the
I think you
YJ-18,
need to
right?
resend that to me. I don't think you resent it to me, did you?
Yeah. I did to the Saturday morning harpoons
Oh, there we
channel.
go.
So, because I don't know if it is, or maybe it's not so much smaller than the whole missile. Because I was wondering if it expands the actual missile and go with the sprint vehicle, if it is small enough to be considered stealthy or not, instead of very small, right? Because it would be another 10% from 10 or even more, I think.
What are you trying to say? That the signature
Because the
changes?
missile, the missile, maybe, yeah,
Why?
although not maybe, because the sprint vehicle is smaller than actual rest of the missile. But now looking
Oh.
at
I'm sorry. So this is this grayed area here? This is a sprint.
yes, this is the
Yeah.
sprint vehicle, and if you look below, you see
Yeah.
how it detaches and loses
Oh
good
yeah.
part
Okay, well
of.
that makes sense, but I don't know if it makes it stealthy or not.
Yeah, I don't know either,
That's a
but
good question
yeah,
though.
maybe this one, maybe not. I know that there are some Russian ones that really, drop good chunk of
Yeah, no, it makes
of the
no.
body.
It's a good point. I just don't think it goes. I don't think it gets to the point
No,
of.
I looking at this, I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
it
pretty
goes
still
also.
relatively
Although this
large.
stubby wing
Yeah,
probably
exactly. If it was like that, if
reflects
it was
lack
like
of
this
energy.
size, maybe. Yeah. All right.
Maybe, I don't know. It depends how it is formed. It's usually less the size,
So let's
more
just
the shape and
just in
the
retrospect.
materials.
Let's just list our open questions, right? So our open
Right.
questions really, which we should have had ready for this, but whatever, it's all right. But how many directors could have been used, right? So that's definitely an open question, and we'll get a
How
better.
many? Yes,
How many
yes,
directors could have been used? And again, in this tutorial we based it on the minimal viable, which was one. So even just
yeah.
with the one, it was an incredible amount of missiles that had to come in order to potentially get through. And that was even
Yeah,
before the point, um,
well, yes.
phalanx
But what can
fires
I
and so
say? They build it so it will be like
it's
this
difficult. It's difficult.
sophisticated. I don't know how much money was spent on ages,
So
but it
let's think.
was
Okay, so let's think
good
about
stuff.
other. Is there any other scenario where multiple firers would have gained advantage from coming at it from different directions? In which case, the main thing
This,
there is that you would make. The main thing is if
thi-
you're attacking it from multiple angles or aspects, that you would be engaging their
what?
directors in multiple.
I was looking at it, and basically from what I've seen in this game, and I believe it is also true of the real life, you don't really gain benefits with at least missile salvos. You don't get benefits from attacking from different directions. You really want to be going through one arc, usually, because you don't really gain. Because if you attack from front and back, then let's say from two blind angles, then the directors are not even split evenly, because here you
Right,
have
right,
two directors to rear and one to front, and there is really you gain nothing by
right,
attacking
right.
rear directors from two
So
sides,
okay,
because
so let's think then. When would you gain? What is the strategy then as the firer?
that's a good
Is it
question.
to spread it out? Is it to send salvos? Is it to send salvos in increments that
It
cannot
might
be
be
like four,
it
four,
might
four? Like if I sent, should I send a salvo of 12 missiles, or should I send three salvos of four missiles at about 2 seconds apart? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
you
that
could in
no,
effect.
you want to go with everything you have at the same time.
Yes, I think so too.
Them out is not giving you anything. It
And
only
again,
allows it allows enemy to destroy them piecemeal.
right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about though from a rules edge case for Harpoon 5. Is there, in other words, I don't want to show people how to game the game, but is there anything about the rules that could be taken advantage of to spread out salvos to an advantage when it really shouldn't allow it? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
I'm saying
I'm
based
not.
on, and the reason I mention that is just purely based on the tactical turn, right? So in other words, in
Right.
you're planning your firing in 3 minute increments. I think because it's a 3 minute planning, yes, you're correct. The largest salvo wins all the time, right?
Yes.
Because you're not planning missile firing in 10-second increments or 30-second increments. You're planning the missile firing in 3 minute increments, right? Based on
Yes.
the game rules. So, no. The only reason I brought that up is just to make sure there was no edge case, and I don't think you can game the game to gain
No. I
advantages.
don't think also, especially that you consider salvo as one salvo.
Correct,
Um,
correct. And I think we've had that. We've had this discussion. We've had almost all these discussions before, which is funny and good. So
yeah.
I think that's about it. Let's see. Again, this missile probably will be taken out within a turn or two. So
Yep.
just as a recap, it came in. It was detected at the 24 nautical mile mark. We computed it at about 19 point. I can't remember what we got to. 19.6. Figured out how many interceptions there were based on that, based on the system, based on the speed, all that, etc., etc., etc. And there's a lot of intercepts, and there's a lot of missiles that can go at it. Um,
Yeah.
that's the bottom line.
But as I
And
said, we are using the most sophisticated, most expensive
yep.
air defense system built to date.
And I don't necessarily see too much of an advantage to the sprint vehicle. That's the interesting thing
Here
about this.
now, that's interesting. That here sprint vehicle is probably. It depends how many. It might get you few missiles from point defense.
If you sent like 20 missiles, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. We would need to check the difference between this and point defense.
Correct. Right.
It
Because
gets
we still
one
haven't even talked about that. Right.
yeah,
So
it gets one engagement from it gets one engagement at short range, right?
mhm,
Launching it.
mhm.
So that's 16, 12 with three with one. Let's assume what we said. With one director, it is 4 missiles short,
And
probably
right.
from the
So
salvo that you can get.
what we didn't even get a chance to do was to show the capabilities close in, right? So even within the point blank,
Uh,
you got your 5 inch and you got your phalanx, and yeah,
5 inch will really
this will
be
fire once.
just for morale booster, because it will.
Yeah, they'll just fire for effect, and then this guy will have two fires, right? So
Yes, phalanx, but I don't know even if this 5 inch will have enough firepower to take enough fire or the AA rating to even take a shot
So
with sprint
what
vehicles.
is the small missile version of this? The newer one, is that called the C-RAM? Is that
This,
right?
yeah, RAM. Oh my
And
God,
what is the
is it
Ben?
RAM?
I think it's C-RAM. We can look it up later. But there's a newer
Yes,
missile version of
RAM
this,
chip.
the kinetic missile version of this that I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it expands the range of it, but I need to
it
research that.
probably. Yeah, I need to research it also because I think not only range, but I think it has better chance of the kill
I
also.
guess, or less chance of, or more rounds potentially, or more fires
No, it
available.
doesn't have the rounds are different here because I'm looking at the picture of it right now. It has one, two, three, four, eight. It has 11 missiles. So I guess 11 shots. It's still better because I believe I wrote down how many bursts
Right, I think it's
are
seven
here. Yeah,
bursts.
7
Yeah,
bursts. So you
I think with the
technically can
C-RAM,
engage
you
more targets.
basically with the C-RAM version of the Phalanx, I can't remember the designator, but I think you would get more fires. I don't know if it's maybe even more. I just don't know if
I
it's more
I don't know
accurate. I
if
don't know
it
if it's.
has better chance to kill or
I
not.
think
That
it
I don't
probably
know.
does because it also includes some sort of explosive or
You
kinetic.
know, I would guess it probably does because they build it
Maybe it kind of
and
airbursts it, right? Maybe it
they
kind of
do it,
like.
so it's probably better.
Right, exactly. There's a reason somebody paid more for it.
Exactly. Unless it's a sham, it's probably better if they replace phalanx. It means it's better. If not, it means it failed.
Okay,
That's
so
that's my point.
just for the laughs, here comes your missile. It ain't getting anywhere near you. It ain't getting in. All right, so if anything, hopefully we've demonstrated the full and modern and highly
You-
capable
the-
capabilities of our U.S.
Okay, if you believe the Rayetons tag on their own page, Serum combines the accuracy, extended range, and agility of the RAM missile with the high-resolution search and track sensor and reliable quick response of the Phalanx Block 1B system. If believe producer. uh,
So that's how far and how long it would have taken it to actually hit it, but there was no way it's gonna do it.
yeah, but what's important to say about the point defense system because there were questions. There were one question. If the point defense is calculated uh, with this engagement procedure. No, point defense basically it says that this missile system, because you calculate engagement for, I believe, not missile system, right? But you calculate engagement for each defense system on a ship, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so this P for point defense means that this SM2 can fire once. SM2 missiles can fire once in point defense range bracket. But all guns and some, I believe, systems like I don't know if CRAM is here counted as the missile system or point defense system. I don't know that. But all guns are considered point defense weapons, and they just get, if they are not autonomous systems like Phalanx or Russian Kashtan, they get one shot at each incoming target. Well, not target, but one shot. If there are 3 missiles, they get one shot at one of them. And if there are autonomous like Phalanx, they get 2 shots. Either one on one missile. I believe they said that you basically roll twice, and this is the number of kills you get. Because you don't need to spread it like 2 shots against one or one shot against two. You just roll for first. If it's killed, you roll for second. Because Phalanx works like
All right.
that. Phalanx is quick enough to
I think we'll wrap
assess.
up here, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
Any immediate questions from people that are connected? We'll try to get. We'll look back over the video, and if there was any questions that had come up
Yeah.
between us, then
Then
we'll get some clarity on
and
them.
we'll do it again with
Yep.
all clarifications,
Well,
right?
what I planned on
No,
doing is what we can do is we can basically remake a video with a script and
yes.
give a kind of more of a PowerPoint presentation of all the slides and all the images and stuff like that. This was our kind of
Yeah, I
first.
will I will amend slide with the you know the directors.
Right. That's
And
really the only. That's one of the main question points. And then we had some question points about the
okay,
ruling around sprint vehicle. But I'm kind of glad we
that
went through
was
that because it was an interesting scenario. I'm glad we did this.
yeah,
So
good questions. Let's
yeah,
write down the questions
it's,
and send to Larry
yep,
immediately.
immediately.
Before we forget. Before we forget.
So you know me too
No,
well.
because yeah,
All right.
because tomorrow I will forget about
Yeah,
them.
we're gonna be
I
playing
bet
another game
you.
right after this. So yeah, okay. All right, all right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed
Yeah,
it. It was fun. Excuse the
yeah.
chaos at the
Thanks.
beginning. I'll probably trim the video. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye.